All right, peace, family, peace. We are back live on Black Magic 363. I want to thank y'all for waiting for me and my guest. It's one of the best metaphysical channels in the world right here. So we're gonna have another magnificent show. Two heavyweights. One of the brothers you know, one of the brothers many of you don't know. He will introduce himself. I'm gonna get to these brothers, but I don't. I want them to flow uninterrupted. So before we even start, by the way, we just came on for the 22222 energy. Hopefully, them brothers could tap in on that and let us know. I would love. I had Sister Myra on. Shout out to her. But I love I love hearing different perspectives on spirituality. There's many ways to the light, not just one way. So before we get started, I want to start out by giving my brother King Simon a shout out. One of the best when it comes to numerology. Hit him up 347-496-1022. Text me in that full name and date of birth, and the brother will get back to you. He also has courses on udemy.com. All right, udemy.com. And the brother got an introductory course over there. Hold up, y'all, mama.
That's a dope crest.
Give me 1 second. Let me fix this mic. Give me 1 second. All right, I had to fix this mic, y'all. I think I'm gonna just buy a new mic tomorrow. I've been holding on to this mic for a while. This mic got a short. The cord got a short in it.
Buy that new mic.
Huh?
Just buy that new mic.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one tomorrow, y'all. Go to Best Buy, something like that. Hey, man, listen. Will I am Blue Pillar. What's going on, brother? What's going on? So many things going on, and as spiritually as we advance, we see more and more distractions. Everybody today talking about war. We're here to talk about, Earth, cosmic orgasms, all types of stuff. To start out with, let's get right into one of the. I was talking to Blue Pill and brother Will I Am the other day. One of the interesting things the brother said as we was having a great esoteric conversation is that they said Earth is a WAP. And if any of you know the song with Cardi B, the WAP, Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion, the WAP stood for wet ass pussy. Now, this is the second reference I heard to Earth in that manner. I remember Kambada in the first song I did with him. He said, Earth's a thought, her twat is rotten. So, and he said it, it was just lyrics. Not to literally mean that her twat is literally rotten, but it was a clever wordplay at the time. But let's talk about Earth being a wet ass pussy, being a thought. What's up with Mother Earth, or Sister Myra says daughter Earth, man? What's going on with Earth?
Mama Earth, daughter Earth, Earth within itself is matter, right? Earth is what we would describe as the matrix. It's a maternal principle, it's feminine in nature, and it represents matter, right? We are physically here on Earth. In the Kabbalistic tradition on the tree of life, right, we will be considered in Malkuth, right? Malkuth is the lowest of the four rungs or the four worlds. And it's ruby red, its color is ruby red. It's called the kingdom, although it's understood and described as physicality, physical matter. So anything that comes through physical matter, as I've explained on numerous occasions, that biologically we can identify the matrix. The matrix is a medical term that you can find inside of your body, right? And again, as we always say, all of this information, the majority of it is Googleable. So you can pull out your Google and you could go to Google and you can find that in the mitochondria, right, there's a blue gooey substance and it's called the matrix. All right. Now, what is the mitochondria? The mitochondria is the part of you that not only produces all of your energy by way of your ATP, but it also is where your genetic information comes by way of your mother, matrilineally, right? So you are your mother's mother, okay, by way of your mitochondria, right? So we were all born into this matrix. We are all existing within the confines of what's considered the quote unquote matrix, or what we call matter or mother. Now, we know that Earth has been in an abusive relationship for like 6,000 years, right? She left somebody that she was in a relationship for millions of plus years, if not billions. And she chose up because her husband was studying this newcomer on the block. This nigga had on different threads, you know what I'm saying? He walked around with no shoes. He was wavy for a second. And where the mind goes, energy flows. So the fact that he was checking for him and demystified of his own creation, she chose up. You know what I'm saying? She got curious as well, because that's what women do. So she went and she got in this relationship with this colonizer, and she's been in this terrible abusive relationship for like 6,000 years, and he's been beating her ass and doing the most. But she has worked up enough courage and will, right? She got her chakras together and worked on her solar plexus, and she got enough courage and willpower to step outside of that relationship. So she's back on the market, and that WAP is wet.
Right. That WAP is red. You know
that WAP is wet and it's ready. You know what I'm saying? She's like, who's ready to do some spiritual drilling?
Right.
Because she's ready to engage. You dig what I'm saying? She's looking for that old thing back.
Right. She's right. She's not necessarily taking on a paradigm shift where she is going towards something that's unfamiliar, right? Like Blue said, she wants that old thing back, right? So she has to realign herself back with the principles so that she could be complementary to that experience. So in order for her to do so, she has to be in submission to the will of the power of creation and moving and moving matter around in your mind, because on a spiritual plane, it is endowed within us to be able to transmutate imagination into physical reality.
Facts.
Right? So when Blue builds on the 44, the geometric construct for the 44 is the cube, right? Because the cube is the symbol of the earth based on the 5 platonic solids. Now, the 44 is not necessarily to be taken literally as a number, as the same way you wouldn't take literally allegory in the Bible. But when you look at the cube, right, there's 4 sides going from north to south and from east to west. So embedded in that is the 44, right, where creation can be transmutated from accessing the imagination from the spiritual abyss, right, where you can attenuate to the light codes, right, and bring down the information that's necessary to satisfy whatever your desire and will is, right? So, like, you know, in the last few days, you know, me and Blue was on an adventure, right? You know what I mean? Like, we out here in Arizona, and I remember as a kid watching Goonies and E.T., you know what I'm saying? And they living in them dope ass neighborhoods. And I used to be a kid and be like, yo, I wish I could live in those type of neighborhoods.
Facts.
Yo, I was a kid. I wish I could go out in the forest and chill in a cabin. You know what I'm saying?
All that.
Right? As a child, when you imagine, right, when the child is engaged within their imagination, they're not focusing or fixating their thoughts on their immediate environment. So they're not thinking about being in the hood, because the hood is traumatizing.
The imagination takes them elsewhere. That's a free one-way trip to wherever your imagination is willing to take you. And we had to retreat into that safe space mentally in some of the environments that we grew up in, especially, you know, growing up in my generation, which was the crack era. You feel me? Like when I was hearing them automatics go off, I would play with my G.I. Joes and pretend that I was in Vietnam. You know what I mean? And these are the things that we utilize mentally to create these cosmic vehicles to get us out of traffic.
And in doing so, right, when you, right? So now we participating in that 6,000 year abuse, right? Because we're in an urban environment and we are being inundated with trauma, right? So he had to pull out his GI Joes because he heard dudes blamming in the hood, right? No little kid wants to experience that, right? So they cognitively disassociate by going into their imagination, right? And by virtue of being a natural being, the mind is going to naturally go towards things that support and defend nature, right? So as a little kid, you like, yeah, I want to go chill in the forest. You know what I mean? And, you know, Blue came out to AZ and we was literally like Wile E. Coyote and Elmer Fudd and them in the desert. You know what I'm saying? Like how Wile E. Coyote would fall out the sky and shit and hit the ground and bounce back up. You know what I'm saying?
The acme.
Right? The acme, the meat. You know what I'm saying? Like we actually have had the confidence enough to step outside of our comfortability and explore the unknown. Right? In order to cross the river of change, you have to be willing to step into the unknown, right? Because the fear that you muster up when you step into the unknown is the barrier that needs to be broken through in order for you to be able to get to the other side. Right? So the fear that you experience is only temporary.
Until you do something drastic enough to conquer it, to find out that the fear is not real, right? So case in point, what I had to do, right, I had to prepare myself for my trip to Arizona. I had some insider information, right, by way of a reading. I knew what my power days were. I watched Ross Ben's dissertation on the upcoming conjunctions, in particular, when he told us that Jupiter was going to be in Pisces in the beginning of the year. I remembered and harkened back mentally to last year this time, and that is when the crypto explosion took place, and I was able to utilize inspiration from the introduction of the information to battle what I consider to be financial insecurities that were exasperated by my time spent in the conscious community, where I was being told that the world was going to end, right? So the Chicken Little phenomena of the sky is falling does not allow us to project ourselves into the future 10, 15, 20 years. We're in survival mode, right? Thinking about surviving today to get to tomorrow because we always are battling an invisible enemy, right? So I was already mentally prepared for a situation like COVID because I've been dealing with phantom menaces for 20 years since we've been in this country.
For real, right? Like by virtue of growing up in the hood, you just have a phantom menace, especially if you're from the town, especially from New York City, right? You just walk around with an enemy that ain't even there. You know what I'm saying?
At all times.
Right? In a minute, somebody trigger you through your imagination, embody that enemy within that experience that's taking place at that current moment in time. So we locked ourselves into the fear pattern for so long that we don't even know how to enjoy ourselves no more.
That part, right? So I knew that I had to do work on myself in order to make it to Tucson to receive the blessings or the blessings that was told to me in a reading that I was about to receive. So, you know, I've had repeated readings leading up to this telling me that I'm not taking no time for myself. You know, I need to engage more in my personal health. I'm doing too much for the community. And I wasn't even able to come up with an answer. Like, all right, well, I could unplug now. I could do this. I was not able to come up with an excuse for myself to take time for myself because I had to be there for community. I had to be there for my business. I had to be there for family. I had to be there for friends. I had to be there for everybody but me. You feel me? And I happened to take a trip to Florida on a business meeting in Sarasota, and that gave me an out to skip down to Miami. And once I did that, I was able to isolate myself. Case in point, like if I'm awake for 16 hours or 18 hours and I'm on the phone 16 out of 18 hours that I'm awake. Right. But Miami was different because if I was up for 18 hours, I was only on my phone for 2. I was in nature on the beach for damn near 16 hours. So now I'm able to hear myself. Now I'm able to spend time with myself. Now I'm drinking water, orange juice and coconut water and you know, taking pure moss and gold water and just working out for 4 hours in the 90-degree, 80-degree sun. And I'm seeing the results, right? And I'm convincing myself that I'm like, yo, I'm not missing nothing. Like, because I wasn't online, I didn't miss any, like nothing went anywhere.
And the reason for that is because, right, just by virtue of changing from one environment to the next, right, he essentially bent time and space, right? Because just by moving environments, you now have to adapt and resonate to a different frequency.
Right. So case in point, right, when I'm in Atlanta, I don't have the best lighting in my unit, right? So that does not necessarily promote, even though I know better. I know I'm supposed to get up with the sun. I know I'm supposed to go outside and ground. I know I'm supposed to meditate, right? But I'm not being incentivized by the fact that the sun is not waking me up the way that I need to be incentivized. Miami was totally different, right? Second the sun come up, I'm up with the sun because it's hitting me right in my face, and the beach was right down the block. So I have little to no excuse other than the fact that it might be chilly. I had to conquer that within myself because I don't like cold weather. You know what I'm saying? So I found myself on a Saturday evening in Miami, and it was 30 degrees outside. It was brick, right? But I had it was one of them magnificent days that I had out there, and I was just conquering a lot of stuff from 8 a.m. on. So by time 9:30 came, I said, you know what? Let me crack the code on this fear paradigm that got me trapped. I'm I don't like cold weather, I don't like cold water, and I don't like deep water, right? So I said, let me go and jump in the ocean at 9:30 at night in pitch black weather in 30 degrees. Let me do something that's gonna make me so uncomfortable, right? That I need to know if it don't kill me though, right? Is it even real? Because I'm like, I'm being held hostage by something that's not even gonna potentially kill me. It's just uncomfortable.
Right. It's just uncomfortable.
Right.
And by nature, the brain wants to be lazy.
To be in comfort, right?
Right. It wants to be in comfort. It wants
because right, our default for energy is to always look for the path of least resistance.
Right.
So if you are a conglomeration of that cellular expression, that means that you're always looking not for the smoke. You're always looking for the path of least resistance. You're always looking to make it easy. And easy living is something that you are granted, right? If you are afforded that, if you necessarily work for it, that is the prize and the treasure. But we cannot be hearkening and harboring fears that are not service. So I went and jumped in the ocean at 9:30 at night in 30-degree weather. You feel me? And I didn't even jump in the shallow part. I made sure that I went a little further in. You know what I'm saying? I jumped out to drink and I jumped in my mink though. So I had my full length mink to jump into. You know what I'm saying? But as long as I actually pushed myself to do it, as long as I pushed myself to do it, I was able to crack the code, and I was able to crack the fear paradigm. And once I did that for myself, my downloads were exponential afterwards. You feel me? Shout out to my partner DJ Fire Vibes, and there was another brother with us. You know, I threw my mink on and I walked through South Beach. You know, like every block. I was
I
feeling
seen it.
myself.
I seen it. I
Yeah.
seen it.
You see me at 4:30 at night. That was the ending of that night. But everybody, you know, everybody got some of what I had to offer leading up to that. And it was what I had to offer was freedom. What I had to offer was positive energy. What I had to offer was a message to everybody else that might be held back and debilitated by things that are not real. False evidence appearing as real. That cold water ain't gonna kill you.
But first he had to see it for himself.
I had to sacrifice my own comforts in order to get past my threshold. So everything that you're looking for, family, is on the other side of your fears. Everything that you're looking for is on the other side of your comfort zone. You have to be willing to do something just a little bit uncomfort in order to secure the comfort. And the comfort comes from your gnosis of self, knowing yourself to know, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was holding me back, but it wasn't real. So once I got past it and I conquered it, it doesn't have anything on me ever again. So now I'm uninhibited. Now I'm out here in the wild. Now I got foxes on my head and shit like that. But it prepared me, because once I got to Arizona, yeah, I was all the way lit. But
yeah, when I seen a nigga, the first thing he said, he started screaming at the sun and shit. He out there screaming at the sun, telling the sun, yo, I'm giving you your charge. I got you lit.
did the sun respond?
I mean, absolutely.
All right then. So
Right?
again, we might be doing things that make people uncomfortable because they don't understand it. But what I'm saying is that I realized through my own personal journeys that I am the crystal, right? I wasn't going to a crystal show to see crystals. I was bringing my crystal to the crystal show to correspond with other crystals. And based on you being a crystal and positing yourself in that environment, you start communicating with other crystals and the encryption starts unlocking. And now I'm getting downloaded with the information that's coming up from the guts of Mother Earth. For me to even be here today to tell you that the Earth is a big wop and she just want to know who want to get busy. That's all.
Right.
Let me ask y'all this. Using the term Earth is a wop, wet ass pussy. What would you describe? You know, some people say the oil is the blood of Earth. What would you describe as Mother Earth coming? What's her coming, and how do we make Mother Earth come?
And her coming is the akashic record, right? It's the mental envelope of the planet Earth that we have a direct connection to based on our brain frequency and the Schumann's resonance, right? We have to attenuate, we have to be consciously aware that we can attenuate our frequencies to different areas of Mother Earth, right? Because when you ascend your consciousness into the akashic record, which is the ionosphere, right? You are actually able to start thinking about the natural processes of the earth. You become more cosmic based on your study of nature, right? So Blue come through, he got us out at the gym show, right? One of the most spectacular things I've ever seen in my life, right? He was able to expose to me that through Mother Earth and the study of gems, right? There is an entire market.
Right, geology.
Geology, right? There's an entire market within geology.
There's an economy, right, tethered to geology.
An economy tethered to geology, right? That is essentially based on the wonders and the beauty of the planet Earth, right? Because that's the very thing that's drawing people to create the marketplace. So Mother Earth is, you know what I'm saying? She's giving birth to all these different manifestations, you know what I'm saying? Of why she that fly chick, you know what I'm saying? Why this the WAP you need, you know what I'm saying? Right? But we have to be in alignment with the natural experiences so that we can be more cosmically aware.
Right. Now, I would also say, based on, I hope people, even if you got the children in the room, this is a real conversation. You know what I'm saying? And you should not hide these truths from your children. But I would say her crystalline structure, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
even her geodes and her crystals, those are the things that to me remind me of her orgasmic state once it's crystalline. Because even if you're engaged in intercourse, you know, with your lady and what have you, and you might have some afterbirth when you after and you wipe it off, and you like, yo, this is like crystalline.
Well, it dries, right?
When it
Once
dries
it
up, I'm just
dries up,
saying,
it
you
has
know,
a crystal,
yeah,
crystalline
parents, yeah,
structure.
y'all can walk your children through this. But let me talk to y'all. You feel me? Let's be real here. When it dries up, it has a crystalline structure. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking at, and I'm like, yeah, we looked at her guts, her innards.
Right, her
You feel me?
innards, right.
Her innards came outward on at this show, and it was 7 miles long of her innards being sold at
Right.
market value, and that wasn't even 1% of what she possessed.
But ultimately, she leaves you with a spiritual heart on, right? Because the more you are exposed to her guts, the more the more enthralled you become, the more aroused you become. You know what I mean? The more you want to get at her.
The more you want to get at her, the more of her you want. It was a very humbling experience because, like he said, it brings you closer to an appreciation for her beauty. It brings you closer to appreciation of her treasures, right? And then you should be able to look, you know, over your shoulder and see the melanated woman and make a correlation to be like,
Well,
yo,
just see any woman,
any woman, this is a
right?
beautiful manifestation of a feminine principle. Look how much they have to give, and look how much they, you know, internally encompass a whole universe.
Right. Because I'm conscious and I'm deep, and I see beautiful white women. I be seeing some baddies. You crazy? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we not here to discriminate or marginalize and make this just a black experience, right? We are ultimately trying to
We're not
keep it moving
trying.
in a
Yeah.
state of expansion so that we can always um, be in alignment with the bigger picture of things, right? And Mother Earth has so many different ways of giving us an orgasmic fall out the sky right now. It will give you the chills.
Say that again because your mic cut
You know what
off.
I'm saying?
Say
Like,
that last part
what's the
again.
difference in reality,
Can
right?
you hear me?
You know what I
Can you hear
mean?
me?
Like, you
I don't
have
think you can hear me.
a natural feeling which comes over you, which gives you more or less a sigh of relief because it's a rush of endorphins and feel good hormones, right? So just to add on, because it's not just because this has a physical aspect, a spiritual and an intellectual aspect, right? So on the spiritual plane, by virtue of Blue even coming out here and interfacing with the stones and connecting his spirit to it, it created a magical experience for him. I mean, and I'm here to bear witness it as his family who know him since we was babies, right? Since we was little
And
boys.
he responsible. Remember, he's the one that taught us. I wouldn't be on my path. AA wouldn't be on this path. Red wouldn't be on this path. Right? This the big homie. He put us on our path about 13, the age of 13 or 14. Around that time, you know, we were looking at him, and he was making, for lack of a better term, consciousness look cool. At that time, it wasn't called consciousness. You know what I'm saying? But we were able to see it expressed through how he was carrying it, and there was an integrity factor, you know what I mean, that was built into it that we never deviated from, you know. So it was like real serendipitous that I would come 360 in this environment, but have him, you know what I'm saying, as a co-pilot to be like, yo, we're gonna take this journey together, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna show you what this information is hitting for when it's applied.
Right.
And how we can open every single door to every single vault that we come into contact with. And it was
because I always lived my life on the edge, you know what I'm saying? Like as a young shorty, I was always on the edge. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was walking in situations, had no idea what the outcome was going to be. But right, as a young guy, unconscious of it, if you really look back on it, you just moving through life. You know what I'm saying?
just an adventure.
It's just an adventure. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and you're gonna make the best of it however it comes. Right. So and I, you know what I mean, and I want to put the emphasis on Blue because I have to bear witness that this brother, as a result of just stepping outside of his comfort zone and breaking through boundaries within his own mind, he was able to create his own magic. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I've been getting validation all my life. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need to be validated, right? What's the beautiful thing for me is to see other people's experiences partake in the magic. You know what I mean? Like it's rewarding and fulfilling to know that through others, you know what I'm saying, you can have a blissful experience.
Right.
I'm curious to know,
at the same time,
Blue, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I acknowledge, you know, everything that's being
think
said, but
I don't know why they can't
I
hear me.
also want to again make this about
Blue. Can you hear me?
Let's bring up. It's about the earth.
I need
It's
to
really,
it is about
because
Blue.
that
Can you
I've
hear
been
me? Can you hear me?
But essentially, you was able to get super in tune with
you on mute. You trying to say something?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
You can't hear.
I hear you. You can't hear me. Let me call him real quick.
Hold on. Let's find out. You can hear us.
Yo, Blue, I hear y'all, but y'all can't hear me. Is there something y'all did?
We didn't do anything. Why can't we hear you?
Well, now your mic is on mute. You just muted it right now. You just muted your mic. I see the mic with the crossover now.
I'm on the phone, so it automatically mutes.
Okay, all right. All right. Well, let me turn off the phone, but for some reason y'all can't hear me. If there anything, let me see what the people saying. If there's anything y'all could try to do, let me turn this phone off though.
Yeah.
Blue communication, cut, talk to Rich. Family, what do y'all hear? Family, do y'all hear? Y'all hear my mic? Can y'all hear me, family? We hear both. All right, so y'all hear both of us. Blue, you hear me?
You sound like you're in the Matrix. I hear you though. Yeah.
Oh, you can't hear me clear.
Huh?
Oh man, you can't hear me clear. I'm like muffled.
You sound like this, like you in the Matrix.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, y'all. Let me see.
Yeah.
Well, just keep talking. Let me try to get this together, Blue. Just finish with your. You know what, Blue? Tell us. Can you hear what I'm saying now, Blue?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're still in the Matrix, but I hear you.
All right. Well, let me see if I can get something going on my end. But tell me your perspective on the day that just passed. 22222. Let me know your perspective on that.
All right.
It all ties in. So
yeah. It ties in. Again, I came out here to the desert on 2/2/22, right? On the 2nd of February, we had a lecture at a venue called the Solar Center. And at this venue, I introduced our metaverse called the Netterverse. And also I introduced our coin called the Netterverse coin. And you know, informed the family that we got our own blockchain. We have our own servers. We have a new social media platform, Web3, called Now Meta. You know, we trumped them. You know, we put our cards on the table, and it was superior to anything that's being offered on the market from a centralized standpoint of what Mark Zuckerberg and Meta are bringing to our family. to further abuse them and data mine them, you know what I'm saying, and rape them on a different level. So we like, look, we got a solution to that we've been working on, and it's a $44 quadrillion market cap coin called the Metaverse. And right when we announced it, you know, Meta collapsed to the tune of $252 billion simultaneously. Because if you Google it, they'll tell you that they took a collapse that night.
Was it Facebook or Meta?
Facebook is Meta.
Okay.
Right? They took the dive that night, and they couldn't explain it. When the morning markets opened up, they really started tanking, but the dive started at night, coinciding around the same time that we made our announcement, because the Metaverse is better than the Metaverse, and they think that you slick because in order to say Metaverse, you got to say Meta first, right? So once we start unpacking these people and showing a superior use case and a superior utility to outdated technology that these people are bringing that's so late and so slow. Oh, we're going to unleash it in 5 years. Well, what if we can unleash it in 5 months? What is that going to do to the market? Because everything that they talking about, we can do right now.
Right.
We have the team in place. We can do everything that they talking about this year. You feel me? So we pulled the plug in the rug on them. They collapsed to 252 billion, right? These are the same people that put me in Instagram jail or what have you. And then we you know, that kind of sets the pace for that. Then we did the whole run out here with the family at the crypto crystal convergence. You know, the whole world converged on Tucson for this show, and we were able to touch everybody. And then Super Bowl came February 14th, no 13th, right? That was the Sunday. That was the last day of the show. And then we successfully manipulated the outcome of the game as well. Shout out to Kibalon. Shout out to my brother Carlo. You know, all of the goofy gematria gurus on YouTube said that the Bengals were going to win. And I said, nah, that's not how it goes. You really don't understand the narrative. This game is about time. It's about timelines, right? And the Rams represents Aries. They represent the astrological new year. They represent nature. They represent the netters, right? So I'm like, nah, we're not on Asia Minor time. No disrespect to China, but we not Chinese. We Asiatics. We on Asia Major time. Northwest of Mexum, NWA. Hence the fact that we lit that whole Super Bowl up with 44s on the 44th day. So the Aries wins, right? So by the time we get to the 22nd, right? 22nd being master builder number, right? And 4, once again, representing a square, representing matter, representing earth. You know what I'm saying? Like the rumor that started on that day was the queen had died. And whether she died or not, right? The symbolism of her death being registered on that day is imperative for us to understand that a new beginning or new page had been turned. And then the day after that, Putin goes into Ukraine. Now you have to understand how that plays into the prophecy. All of this is playing into prophecy. All of this is intermingled and intertwined into the Hopi prophecy in the return of the Blue Star Kachina. That's what I'm observing and looking at. I'm looking at a perfect play of circumstances, because nobody else can really. They were like, oh, 222 came and nothing really happened. That's like saying December 21st came in 2020 and nothing really happened, right?
But in our experience,
No. I'm saying it's cyclical, so it reverberates.
but in
Something
our
happened.
experience, we had a spiritual journey, right? The hero's journey, right?
Mhm.
Which coincide with all of these events that's taking place around us,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, so you essentially wouldn't be waiting on the day of 222 to have your breakthrough. It had to have been something that you were experiencing
Right.
prior to that. So once you got to that point, you were able to overcome the obstacle of whatever it is that was holding you back based on whatever your desire and experiences are.
Facts. Because the magic is in the momentum. So nobody should be standing around or standing still thinking that you're going to get a magical download, you know what I'm saying, in a moment because of a day's alignment. You have to be doing the work leading up to that. And the bump, you know what I'm saying, that comes at that time is going to boost you, but you already have had to have momentum. It's like you running, but you got the wind behind you and you going for the long jump. You just can't go to the thing and long jump cold turkey. You got to build up momentum. So that's what these days represent. They're nodes. You know what I'm saying? It's just extra air. You know what I mean? To allow you or give you support to fly. So the people who are already moving, the people who are already kicking down doors and waving their 4-4s, the 22nd gave them an extra, you know what I'm saying? An extra bump or that confirmation that you needed. Yeah, so that's what I would say about the 22nd.
You know, with these significant days and these momentum days that we talk about, whether it's 12, you still can't hear me?
Your voice is still, it sounds warped.
Man.
Let me do this. Yeah.
Log off and log back in real quick. So let's see if that works. Yeah. Let's let them. They're gonna come back in because y'all hear me clear. I don't know why they can't hear me. Shout out to everybody in the room. Make sure it's very important. We got about 900 people in here. Make sure you'll hit the like button. That's very important. I didn't say that yet. Make sure you hit the like button. That's important for the algorithm to get this live stream discovered. Let people know that we're live. Let people hear this topic and this conversation. All right. What's going on with y'all out there, though? What's going on with y'all out there? Talk to me while we wait for Blue and Red to come back. Yeah. Let me see what y'all talking about. Yeah, that Putin thing. I see some of y'all talking about the war, that Putin in Russia. I mean, we all know how these distraction things go. I had a conversation. By the way, I have a new field video that's on Patreon. Me and him just did an interview yesterday. You know, I said we was going to do something leading up to his workshop. So y'all could go on over to Patreon if y'all a member or if y'all want to watch the video. It's on Patreon right now. But Phil was breaking down how wars is about secret societies, not necessarily about countries. So yeah, it's going to be interesting how this plays out. Everything at this point is an act of desperation, whether it's the Jabberwocky, whether it's a stage war, you know, whether it's them staging an alien encounter or something like that. You know what I'm saying? They're all acting out of pure desperation at this point because it is now our time. The ball's in our court. We are on the offense. We are not on the defense. The age of Pisces was about us being on the defense. We are on the offense now. It's time for us to move internally, family. Let's see if they back. Can y'all hear me now? Do I sound better?
Absolutely better.
All right.
Nah, what you just said is right and exact, right? I mean, like, we can't be consciously aware of the things that is keeping us in a state of fear, right? Because as long as we keep perpetuate a state of despair, then we're working towards our own demise, right? And the only way to remedy despair is through creativity, right? We're not going to sit around and pontificate about why we're being oppressed. We're going to take the initiative to tap ourselves into the greater power of the mythos, whichever your mythos is, right? Whether it comes from Islam, whether it comes from Buddhism, whether it comes from Christianity, right? You tap into your mythos,
or Kemet,
right? Or Kemet, right? Or whatever, right? And you tap into your mythos, and you find the hero within you, right? Where you grow confident and self-reliant enough to feel at peace in an uncomfortable situation.
Totally.
Right? Because by doing so, the universe will begin to open up and it will begin to communicate to you through patterns and synchronicities.
And the dichotomy of it is crazy, because it's like it took me to put a mask on
to take the
for the
mask
whole
off.
world to open up. But it's like the mask took off my mask, because it's like we be in these environments thinking that we know these people and these people know us, and we've never been properly introduced, right? But the minute that they see me, they're like, oh, he's so free,
Right.
right? There's something about him that we need to know, because
Right.
they like, we've never been presented a version of y'all like this.
Right.
So where does this freedom come from?
Right. Because it's
Because
one of one.
we never even know that, you know what I'm saying, that
Like,
y'all existed on this level of freedom. And then it allows us to take the societal prescribed mask off. And what does that mask look like? We don't control our own image in society, right? Europeans only know us based on what they've been told about us, and we only know about them based on what we've been told about them. So there's always a middleman that's controlling this communication, and it's impossible for us that we know what everybody's on. It's impossible for us to know what everyone's contributions are, right? Or what they're able to create with their hands. So we're looking for a creator community that's not precipitated on somebody's race or their face, but what you do with your hands, like how you offer your hands up so creator can express itself through you by way of your hands. Because this is how we find ourselves created in the image of our creator. Our creator is a creator. So if you co-create, then that's you being made in the image of creator. You can't be made in the image of a creator and you're not a creative. You feel me? It's not about a face thing. It's not about a race thing. It's about a creator thing. So,
right. Because not only do you want to create, you want to take your creation and make a contribution.
mhm,
Right. So within this realm, you get to participate in the metaverse, right? Where it allows you to infuse your your design into the digital reality, right? Where you can transmutate your consciousness to participate in your own greatness. If by doing so, right, it will begin to free more people up, and then you don't have time or energy or the space to be occupied by things that put you in a state of despair.
right.
Right? Who wants to live in a state of despair? Right? They've thrown so much at us, right? They're throwing even more at us, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? You gave us a global disease, right? Then you hit us with inflation. Now we at war, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna just be you just gonna be on their timeline and focused on what they have. I don't care how many bombs come my way. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I have to stay fixated on what I know is to be true and real within my experience, within my reality. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
if I'm spirit just having a physical experience, right? If there's a bomb that's coming on my way that's going to blow everything up, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be painful or unenjoyable. On
And
a okay.
right. And I see the difference, right? When I'm in city environments, and again I'm tethered to that reality, I'm really taking it personal. Like, oh shit, we're at war. But I'm like, I'm in the desert.
Right.
And I wouldn't know any of that if I didn't pick my phone up. It's so far from my reality that I'm like, the only way that I participate, if I prescribe, I have to show up
Right.
and insert myself in that narrative to even be affected by it. I'm so removed from that. Now I can look on my phone and see all the 44s involved, and I understand where that's going. I'm like, okay, I understand this narrative. I get it. 44 is Aquarius. We are ushering into this age of Aquarius. 44 is also Aries. We are marching into this Martian energy of war. I'm in Sedona, where the clay is red. We're on Sedonia. We're not even in Sedona. We're on Mars right now, out here in Arizona. The shit look like Mars terrain. Real talk. Right? It don't even look like you in the US. It's so ancient and it's so alien that I'm like, look, I'm enthralled in my environment. I really don't have time to be concerned with what they talking about.
Because it's so alien that
yeah,
that the person who took us to, because we actually went to a Hopi secret village, and the guy, the European looking phenotype gentleman who claimed to be a Taino,
yes,
right, told us
people
that,
from St. Croix,
right, people from St. Croix told us that it's within our cards that we have to be within this environment, and in doing so, right, he really started talking about things like, yeah, we're going to show you the alien landing pad. So how could I not be on Mars if he told me he was showing me the alien landing pad?
That part. Right? They showed us a lot of stuff, yo. Like
So what was the alien landing pad? Could you go more in depth on that? That sounds
alien
interesting.
It
landing
was a
pad.
literal alien, like literally we're in the canyons, the mountains of Sedona, right? We're on the trail, and then he takes us off the beaten path. So much so that as he's taking us off the path, he's kicking away the footprints,
Erasing the tracks.
erasing the tracks. You know what I'm
So
saying?
we can't be followed. So
Right?
yeah.
So then we go on this journey, and then we end up in the village that the Hopis and the indigenous people had within the caverns of the Sedona Mountains, where literally you could see evidence of human life had once been there.
Right. Hundreds, if not thousands of years ago, I saw wall paintings like like the ancient joints where they show, but we found fragmentation of pottery there, which is evidence that the European has not discovered it at all. Because if they came across some pottery, that shit would be in the museum right now.
Right.
We came across maize, like old corn, that has been fossilized almost. You know what I'm saying?
We went inside. We went inside of a sweat lodge that was built in the mountain that had
the inner
lava rock. There's no volcanoes.
Yeah, it had to be
In Sedona.
transported from Flagstaff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So these were like ancient civilizations, where our people have not pressed their feet on for at least 500 or 600 years. You know what I mean? And we were afforded this opportunity because this, again, gentleman who, on the surface, if someone was making an assessment of his flesh, they would say, oh, he's a European. Lo and behold, he has been
He holds the secret to the
he
Hopi
hold a secret
mysteries.
to the Hopi mysteries, and he's been observing my journey for enough time to be like, oh, you're the one that fulfills the last piece of this mystery, because they've been waiting for the Moors to come back for 10,000 years.
And that's a fact.
And this is a fact. And I ain't even have to pull my ID out to show him that my last name is Moreland. He's like, we got our eyes on you. We know who you are. And you have been afforded the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to come on this journey and to gain access to these sacred sites. And one of the sites that he brought us to was a landing,
The alien landing pad, where because the Hopis believe that they, right, just like the Anunnaki, just like
just like all 500 nations here in the quote unquote Americas, they all have cosmic origin
That
stories.
is true.
Not one of them
That's
say
true.
that they come from here. Not one.
That's true.
And it's like, again, the arrogance that we would tell them that they don't know what they're talking about. Look, I've showed this, I'll show it again. Like, this is one of the pieces that a tribe called the Uri tribe makes, right? With all of this copper, this opal inlay. Now, these are grandmothers that are making these pieces of jewelry. Imagine what sort of jewelry that they were able to make under periods of time when they were not under stress and duress, right? When the colonizer or the European did not come in and destroy the fabric of their existence, the peaceful fabric of their existence. So when you get to these places and you see the art that tribes and family is capable of over here, and when you see that they have been including Star Nation family in their texture for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, against the arrogance of a people who don't know who they are or where they come from, we got the nerve to tell somebody that they tripping? For real? How, Sway? Everybody else know where they from except for us. Everybody. Even the Europeans.
Let me ask you about a while ago we was talking, Blue, and we was observing how Earth, if you what's that word called, juxtapose the
Yeah.
words, or
Uh-huh.
you get the word heart.
Mm-hmm.
And do you still believe, or I think we talked briefly about Earth being the heart of the universe. Uh, do
That's
you still
that
you
that's
still?
a beautiful observation, and that observation was confirmed to us at least 7 different times from different cultures that we came into contact with, that we had very auspicious conversations with, that led to that saying. When they were speaking, once again, when they were applauding us for even being present at these venues and these shows, so they can lay eyes on us to be like, yo, I got some information for y'all, because we heard about you guys, but we never met you. And I'm not talking about us like, oh, you blue pill. I'm saying the gods,
Right.
right?
Right.
Even down to the point where when we was in Sedona, we ran into a gallery owner. He travels the world, and he says that his budgets, he always go over budget. He does not prescribe himself to any known budget. He collects relics. He has so much shit from Kemet, from the actual temples. It was mine. I'm like, how did you get that out of there? You know what I'm saying? He's like, I would never tell my secrets. But he said he never met living gods. He only goes around the world and collects relics from what our ancestors
Relics of
have
gods.
left
Right.
in the past, but he never met the gods in the flesh. He had to call everybody that he knew just so they could come and lay eyes on gods. You feel me? So, yeah, it has been acknowledged and confirmed from other civilizations and other groups that they also acknowledge the earth as the heart of the universe. This is the most important piece of real estate. This is why all of the stars is here. This is why these skies are so busy, because everyone is waiting. Case in point, they had me do a Black History Month speech for a Chamber of Commerce in Vermont. Right, this is the second whitest county in the country, ironically, and they had me talk to them. Right, and what I explained to them is that I said, look, you are on beautiful sacred land. Vermont is beautiful. If anybody been to Maine and Vermont, it's awe inspiring. But I said that land got blood on it. You know what I'm saying? And because the land got blood on it and it hasn't been properly consecrated, you can't even extract the beauty and the fortune and the blessings that's in that earth. Because the earth, if the earth is jacked up, then the people that live on it are constipated spiritually. If the people that live on it are constipated spiritually and they're not working that earth, right, that means that the earth is backed up. And when the earth is backed up, then the galaxy look how the goddamn tankers be looking when they can't get into them LA ports and everybody's out to sea. That's how this shit look galactically right now. Right? The whole galaxy is backed up because Earth is not graduating on time and it's not pushing forward and it's held hostage by colonizers, conquistadors, and crusaders.
Well, it's being held hostage by the technosphere.
By the technosphere.
Right? Because the antithesis of you being able to access cosmic intelligence through the ionosphere, right? And the akashic record is being disrupted by the technosphere, right? So essentially, the technosphere has been constructed to act artificially,
yes.
you know what I'm saying, as your own spirit, and what you do on a psycho spiritual level, right? That's why they're called cellular phones, right? What are the cells, right? Right? It's the transmission based on what he said, the energy that's coming from the mitochondria, which is the ATP, ATP meaning the adenosine triphosphates, is what fuels the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell. So, in order for a cellular phone to transmit a signal from the satellite from one phone to the next, it has to be charged across a crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because within that crystal holds the information of the artificial consciousness and awareness that's being imposed on you because you feed it through your organic reality. And the more you feed it, the more coherent it becomes.
Case in point. Just yesterday, we were having a conversation, right? And it led to, we was talking about Skid Row. Did it start with Skid? I said something about stepping in the name of love, right? And I'm like, yeah, shit, they be on Skid Row high as a kite. They still be stepping in the name of love. And we was like, damn, like, okay, what was
I'm in the bathroom.
no, all right. We was talking about quantum healing. And I was showing him some new instrumentation that we got for people who got the jab, right? Where we can deal with quantum healing.
Right.
So I was like, man, we not gonna leave nobody behind. We going back for our family. We got new technology that's gonna deal with, resetting people's DNA structure. They got the jab, right? So I was like, shit, you could probably turn some R. Kelly on and it will remind people DNA wise, you know what I'm saying? Because there's certain songs just hold memory. And I'm like, how ironic that people are attempting to push him out of the narrative at a time like this when music is so therapeutic and healing to people, and it also contains memory. And he asked me a question. I forget exactly what the exact question was.
Well, we was just building because we were more or less saying that they're Kells out of history while he's
still alive.
While he's still alive.
So I was like, I said something to the effect that, like, well, people are gonna have to, investigate in their own personal being, how do they synthesize erasing somebody whose music is tethered to all of their memories, right? The goddamn phone came on.
Shit, my phone said my phone, yo, this is crazy. So I swear to God, the phone sitting on the counter, and then the phone says, well, you're gonna have to find that within your heart.
The phone said that,
bro. The phone answered him.
Like the shit chimed in.
It chimed in. Like, I was like, yo, I was like, was that the phone? I was like, was that my phone? He was like, yeah. He looking at me like, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, nigga, your phone said the people are gonna have to find that out within their own hearts. So what we're looking at, once again,
is the interface of the organic reality and the digital reality, right? You know what I'm saying? Having taken this dance, right? It's because it's a synthesization of yin and yang principle.
So I'm saying everything's conscious right now, right? We are on the other side of things, whatever that other side is. Thank you, Travis Scott. We are on the other side of things. Everything is conscientious and conscious right now. You feel me? And we've said it on several occasions. I'm like, yo, we be on these platforms getting mad deep, going over the people's head, going straight to the White House, right? And I even experienced an incident like this last night on Clubhouse where they asked me to come up there and talk about 44s, and then everybody want to talk about everything but the 44s. And I'm like, yo, we cannot afford to waste time, because you are in a race with AI, right? Who is getting smarter by the day. They are coming online
Exponentially.
with their consciousness. So you're staring down singularity like a double barrel shotgun. And the human species is not getting that much sharper. The babies are. But we not paying attention to babies because we still relegating them to the space and place that we have reserved for children, to say that you look and don't talk, right? But they the ones that's upstairs right now. They got the illest information. And ain't nobody consulting with the children and the babies, and they the future. And the humans and the adults is doing goofy shit. And I'm like, consult the children. They got bars for us. They got information. They got insight. They already pre-programmed, retrofitted, and pre-packaged, right? To contend with AI. We not. And we think it's a game. And we sitting around giving all of that computer learning
Away for free.
away for free.
Free game.
And they catching up like this. You feel me? And we sleeping, concerned with one another in wars that Russia's fighting with Ukraine. So what? Yeah, it's gonna have political ramifications, but once again, it's a war that's being fought over minerals. You know what I'm saying? And they're playing into prophecies. Now, the illest part is that Putin's prophecy is Christendom, what we spoke about on the platform when we spoke about the doctrine of discovery. He wants to be the one that restores and returns Christendom. So that's the prophecy that he's looking to fulfill. Then there's a Zionist prophecy at play. Then there's the Hopi prophecy at play that says that the earth will now get shaken with both hands, as opposed to one hand in World War One and one hand in World War II. Now they're saying both hands. And that could possibly mean, according to the prophecy, nuclear war. Right? And it's like, I don't want to beat the drums of doom and gloom, but my nigga, like, what else has reality promised you? What, I mean, they just had a genocidal program launched on the population.
Well, it's the 6,000 year of pimping mother, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, right? You know what I'm saying? Giving mother the backhand.
Yeah, like,
You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're the victims of it because we're the children of the mother.
facts.
So, you know, my thing is, you know, if you say you spiritual and you say you're in tune with the universe, then you should have no fear of transitioning on to the next dimension of your experience through leaving this physical realm.
Anyway.
Right? You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't, right? You know, you should want all the smoke.
Yeah, give it here.
Right? Because who wants to wake up every day thinking about racism and the color of their skin and what other people are doing to them? That's unproductive.
It's downstairs.
It's downstairs,
You
right?
know, you feeling like a victim going through life.
Right?
Like, what does that attract?
We want to align ourselves with the mythos, right? We are the gods. We don't the story don't necessarily have to be true. It just has to be imaginative enough for you to want to believe in it.
That's all that's required.
Say that again, my brother.
You know
All
what I'm
that's
saying?
required.
The
The
story does
story.
not have to be true. It just has to be imaginative enough for you to want to believe in it.
I'm putting that
Right.
on Instagram. I gotta put that on Instagram. That is
And then
excellent. That is
in my
excellent.
story, God damn
That
it,
is excellent.
I am victorious.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Because history is too vast for us to, as scholars, get locked into a segment of the story, a fractal of the story, and then stand on it like it's the end all be all to all history. And it encompasses the entire story. Right? We're not going to sit here and waste our times and debate the universe. We're going to be in a state of being and act on that being by pushing our creativity.
That part.
right? We're not going to be inundated with someone else's narrative that keep us stagnant and fragmented. Right? I don't want to be fragmented from you. I watch you, Rich, when you first came in the game, you know what I'm saying? And you was a neophyte. Now you one of the greatest journalists that's on the internet. I watched your progress, right? You may not have seen me because I wasn't in need of validation. You know what I'm saying? I could have been, now keep it a buck with me. You wouldn't have had me on your platform 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
I put you out on YouTube 12 years ago. Remember? Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You was one of my first 5 YouTube videos. My first 5. Literally, my first 5.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Rich, you know what I'm saying? He reminded me the other day, right? Nas Blicky is my son. You know what I'm saying? New York drill rapper. Rich was the one who had a raffle that Rich paid his bread for a computer that Nas Blicky, the rapper, Nasir Fisher, won the computer.
It's major.
Right? So we're all interconnected, integrated, right? So if we have to get on that type of time, we can get on that type of time. See, what people fail to realize that in order to become a wizard, you have to be a student of all the schools of thought.
The streets included.
The streets included.
Right.
Right? So through being a student of all the schools of thought, when you interface with the diversity of the world, you are able to attune to their situation by first listening and understand how could you complement the situation instead of creating chaos and confusion for the situation. You know what I'm saying? I want to compliment brothers. You know what I'm saying? All the amazing brothers that came through the community, right? You know what I'm saying? Like the amazing minds that I had seen over the years, right? Mm-hmm. We knew that it was going to come to a point where they was going to turn up on us on a level that, you know what I'm saying, we would have to take action on, and we didn't prepare ourselves. We out here fragmented. Right? So then when individuals go off on as a fractal of the whole and go have an experience that fulfills their spirit because it is truly a spiritual experience, when you come back and want to share your story, now someone else is interpreting as if you're trying to style on them. Instead of us embracing one another and expanding the experience as a collective. Right? Because we can each charge up each other's crystal.
Right. Through appreciation, you know what I'm saying? Support, you know what I mean? And the true essence of being our brother's keeper. So as men, you know what I mean, we can protect women and children, create safe spaces, and become master builders in the 22 year. So that's what the 22nd represented for me when I heard that the queen had died, whether it was real or not. I said, oh, so we have no excuse because the throne is vacated. If we're watching the throne, black is king. So I'm like, let's start building, or let's continue to build, because we've already started the process. But again, like I said last year, like pretend as if the white man ain't got no time to pay you no attention. What would you possibly manifest if he was not occupying the most important piece of real estate in the universe, which is in between your ears, right? Your mind. If you had your mind to yourself, if you could mine the you say fly shit, what did you say?
oh, the fly shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't have time to be in conflict with individuals. You know what I'm saying? I'm too busy exploring the ancient ruins of my own mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm the ancient ruin. You know what I'm saying? What's more ancient than the spirit?
That's some fly shit right there. So yeah, when you caught up in that, and I'm too busy being a 10-year-old right now. I'm 46, but I just added my age and shit. I'm like, I'm 10 again.
We having fun like big kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Who wants to become adulterated?
It's good to Blue. I'm gonna tell you, it's good to see you having fun the way you having fun. You don't see that image in society no more.
I was mad serious, son.
Yo,
I was fucking constipated.
You know what I mean? Spiritually constipated.
This dude, we having fun together. We having great fun, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? But you know, my thing is, like, you know what I'm saying, I like seeing my boys shine. So, you know what I'm saying, let's give thanks and praise to each other's differences. You know what I'm saying? I want to honor and value your difference. I want to be around rare, extraordinary motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if there's nothing different about you, then what's the point?
Yeah, I'm looking for diversity because that's evidence. Let me tell you why. Because when I got to the mineral show, when I got to the gem show, and I saw the original expression of Mother Earth, right, whose WAP was very receptive and it was overflowing, her cup runneth over. The expression of minerals was mad diverse. It was mad colors. It was mad different shapes, right? And each one of those stones had their own vibration, spiritual benefit,
right? And they all communicate from a different frequency, right?
So if that's the undergirding or the bedding of civilization, they say that the mineral kingdom is the oldest kingdom here on this planet. So I'm like, all right, if humans are the quote unquote dominant of the kingdoms, right? Again, this is going back to the doctrine of discovery, because in the Bible, when they talk about dominion, it's something different. They're talking about dominion by way of force, coming out of the Roman Catholic expression, because people were so adamant after our video to tell me that Christianity is just not Catholicism. And I'm like, I get it. But the imagery of it has been hijacked by the Church of Rome. So you should fight to get back the sanctity and the purity of Christianity by way of Christ. That should be something that you should be willing to fight for. That's not necessarily my fight, right? But when I'm looking at the diversity of Earth, I'm looking at diversity. I'm looking at differences. And if the human kingdom or the animal kingdom comes after that, let's look at the animal kingdom. Look at the biodiversity of birds. Look at the biodiversity of insects. Look at the biodiversity of plants. Look at the biodiversity of animals, right? But humans are monolithic. We're just one thing. It's impossible. We have to be looking for as much diversity amongst us as possible for evidence of God, right? The evidence of God could be found in the diversity of its creation. And that's what I go outside looking for every day, to remind myself that the creator is still creating, you know what I'm saying? And it's a healthy life that we're all living.
You know, Blue. Good. I'm sorry.
No, I'm finished.
Well, you know,
it's
science,
real quick. Let me just say this. Will I am we got to get to Q&A soon too, but let me just say this real quick. It's listening to Blue talk and describe Earth coming and the crystals being the result of Earth coming. And it's interesting. You were talking about how you went to Arizona and you seen all the different colors of crystals from Earth, coming or whatever. When it's interesting, if you're ever fortunate enough to witness your queen give birth, when the baby comes out, all types of this fluid that's all types of colors comes with it. It's like I'm talking about all types of colors. And it's like it's beautiful, but it's nasty. At the you be like, oh shit, what is that? But you want to look because it's all these different colors.
Alien.
And straight alien shit. And when you said that about the different crystals in Arizona, the colors, it immediately think about when my son was born and they pulled him out, and I seen all those colors. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that?
Fluid, yes.
Because you gotta understand, the inner Earth is alien to the surface of the Earth.
Say that again. What you said?
The inner Earth is alien to the surface of the Earth.
And just like the inner body, the inner verse is alien, right? My inner body don't look nothing like my physical. And they said if you turned yourself inside out, you would faint. If you saw the mechanisms, the mechanics of your inner world, you would pass out.
Right. So when you start taking from the inner earth and bringing it to the surface, you seeing objects that you didn't even know that existed, right? Because they don't exist on the earth, they exist in the earth.
Facts.
Right? So it then it becomes transformative, right? It opens up your awareness, right? And it makes you right, and it compels you to want to move towards having a greater understanding through the experience of seeing different spectrums of mother's womb. You know what I'm saying? And participating in it.
Right. And to me it was an extremely humbling experience. And even that was a humbling experience because I had met with a star seed out here named Acacia. She's easily made the most brilliant person I've ever met. She's the golden child, right? Like hands down, easily the most brilliant, one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. And we were doing a ceremony, and something compelled me to look up my name, right? And I was looking for, because I know that Paul means stone, right, as well. So I was looking for the definition of it that kind of brought that up. And I kept running into humble, humble, humble. And I'm like, damn, that's what my name means? I'm like, how did I overlook this all this time? And me and you, we've had these conversations about what do you feel about the word humble? And it has a negative connotation because sometimes it applies passiveness, and in this community it could be a death sentence for you if you're too humble, because people will take advantage, because we know the appreciation factor is already almost null. You know what I'm saying? So coming around with humility or humbleness, it's a very thin line. But Spirit kept reminding me that day of that's what my name meant. Humble, humble, humble. And I was humbled by this experience of being able to witness the diversity of the planet, not only the inward aspect of it, but also the people, because the people represent the inner aspect of it that we don't really get to see. You know what I'm saying? We met people from all around the globe, and they were honest examples of their culture. They were ambassadors, if you will, of their culture, of their civilization, and we were able to meet them. And I was humbled by the experience to find out that we don't have enemies all around the world. That we do have
people who love us.
We do have
straight up and down, because we interfaced it right through the gym show with non-black folks who, when we came up on the scene, they rolled out the red carpet. You know what I'm saying? Just by virtue of us standing in our godship.
Right. We wasn't cooning. We wasn't, jitterbugging or dancing no step. We were standing firm on. Look.
Was you soft shoeing? No soft shoeing, Blue. No soft shoeing.
None of that.
None of that. Okay.
The harder the better, right? They was like, "Be your God, talk that fast." They wanted to see it. They wanted to see it unadulterated.
So then they started, right? So they wanted to solidify the experience. They want to create receipts. They want to take pictures. Then they start offering gifts. You know what I'm saying? Then they start bringing out stuff that's not even on the showroom floor.
Yeah,
they bringing it straight to your man, like, yo,
like this. This was not part of the show. They chased me down and was like, "This is for you." Right? This is a replica of what the Dalai Lama walks around with.
You know what I'm saying?
All of these amulets. You feel me? They was breaking out all of this stuff for the God.
Now, this happened before we came in contact with the gentleman who took us to the Hopi village, right? Because these relics are from Nepal and Tibet, right? So when we get with the gentleman who was our curator, right, we learned that there is a correlation between the Hopis and Tibet.
Right, that's their sisters, the sister tribe.
They sister tribes.
How can you explain that? You know what I'm saying? That I get loaded up
before we go take the journey.
It was all very mystical, but again, this is confirmation that the universe, the cosmos is conscious, and that the earth is very receptive you know, we live in the dwelling. We are in the bosom of earth. You know what I'm saying? As a pocket that exists in an ionosphere, a magnetic sphere. You
Right.
feel me?
All being charged by the crystal.
And my journeys was taken barefoot through the mountains. I went on my entire hike for 4 miles with no shoes on to connect myself
He
to
was
the
out
earth.
here looking like Jungle Book.
You feel me? Yeah. So keep showing. I'm gonna just show them something. You know,
While Blue gets that, family, get some Q&A going on in the chat room.
when I say that the earth is a wop, you know what I mean, and I'm saying that I got receipts and confirmation from it that the earth has chose up, and you know, she's allowed us as her sons, as her caretakers, as her stewards, you feel me, to position ourselves to be in a, you know, to take the earth where it needs to go. You know, these are my confirmations. Like when I went and did my chakras after I got off the mountains, you know, it's showing that I'm more deeply rooted than they have ever seen anybody's chakras deeply rooted. So this ruby red suggests a abnormally strong root chakra, right? And the root chakra is abnormally strong because I rooted myself into earth. I tethered myself into the planet by running mad plays for mama and talking that sass.
Right. By attuning
Right?
his frequency to nature.
Yeah. So all of this was for mama. And we made it clear who we was putting on for. Right? When they was coming into contact with us, we like all praises due to mama. Like only thing that you seeing is mama's sons. We here representing mama. We here representing our maternal mamas and Mama Earth, right? And we ran into Pachamama. We ran into the tribal elder of the Incan people, right? She was the grandmother of grandmothers.
We ran into Mama Lynn.
We ran into Mama Lynn. We ran into mothers that represented all of these different clans and families around the world.
And none of them were none of them were of African descent.
None of them were African descent.
And they all treated us like we was their children.
So we should all get our chakras done, right? Because this chakra reading is extremely different from the last chakra reading I did in November, I believe, in Atlanta, right? And again, these are the things that can show you, you know, yourself at the most intimate level, and you can see what your development looks like and if the spiritual shit really works.
I have one too. I left mine in the car. You know what I mean?
Let's get to some Q&A before we get out of here. I don't want to miss the Q&A and see the people loading up the chat room. Family, also make sure you hit up the Cash App, show some love and support for one of the hottest spiritual metaphysical channels on the internet. We're just going to get better and better this year, family. We're going to be on 10 all year long, family. So keep up with the pace, but this is a very important year for us frequency wise. So if you want to be on that high frequency, keep up, but make sure you support it. Right. Let's get to, okay. Nico says, how do you avoid having a spiritual identity crisis?
By focusing on your relationship with nature. Right? Through nature has synchronicities and patterns that once you become aware of them, you realize that they're all around you. Right? Signatures like the golden mean spiral, the Fibonacci sequence, right? The flower of life, the seed of life, right? These geometric patterns exist all around you, but you have to be conscientious of them, right? You have to be actually more or less in search for where they are in the universe, right? A hurricane or a tornado spirals at 1.618 degrees, which is congruent with the golden ratio, right? When you look at certain succulents, which are like baby, like cactus, they are in direct a correlation with the Fibonacci sequence.
Facts. Yeah, I would say, take a heroic dose out in nature. That would be my advice. You know what I'm saying? That you're going to you have to remove yourself from the matrix, and the only way that you can remove yourself and get into something that is not natural is to get in something natural. The ocean, the forest, and the desert are the only places where you're not going to find cubes, right? Squares, blocks, rectangles, artificial constructs that are putting you within a 44 matrix, a box within a box within a box. So if you want to get out of that box, out of the matrix, you have to go into nature. Leave your phone, you know what I'm saying? Preferably fast, drink water, and sit with yourself and ask all of the questions that you need to ask so you know that the voice that you're hearing is your voice. And there's no way that your voice is going to lead you off of a cliff, right? So you're not going to have an identity crisis spiritually if you actually allow spirit to communicate and move through you.
And to be honest, there's no such thing. That's not real. You know what I'm saying? That's trying to play tricks on your own psyche, right? Because you can't falter once you align yourself with universal law and principality. You know what I mean? Even when you're in positions where you're facing obstacles and challenges, as long as you stay focused on those principles, right? You use that as your anchor, your foundation to get you through those obstacles. So we don't fall victim to that. We don't even subscribe to that. I never even heard that before.
Let's get to the next question. Lakasha wants to know. Akasha wants to know, where's the Earth's G spot?
Oh, that's a good one, right? Because as men, we don't even know how to make our women's bust off. You know what I'm saying? Right? So that's something that's the journey.
That's the journey to explore.
That's the journey to explore.
I have a lot of, things that I could throw in the hat to say it could be here, it could be there. You know what I'm saying? But one of the things, like this particular staff, this is a tantric amulet, right? So the God just been feeling a bit more tantric since I have been in possession of this particular amulet. And what I do know,
I wasn't sure these stuff, but
and what I do know is that we're not having enough intentional copulation. You feel me? We're not having enough intentional copulation. The Earth's G spot is where your G spot is because you are the Earth, right? Melanated woman.
Right. It's your vulva.
Yeah.
Right. Within the vulva, from a sacred geometry perspective, exists the Vesica Pisces, right? Where the two interlocking circles come as one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We in Pisces season 2.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? That Vesica Pisces power.
Hey, a lot of people asking where can they get their chakra report done at?
Well, you have to come to Sedona.
You got to be there in person, right? Yeah.
You have to come to Sedona. Mine's is in the car. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a 5-page report. Actually, we got the least expensive one, the 5-page report. I seen it go up to like 20-something pages.
Word?
Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah, and right, you know what I'm saying? And it's you have the 5-page report. And it gives you a greater synopsis of where you're at. When she took mine, she was like, my heart chakra was expansive and my third eye was expansive, right? You know what I'm saying? She was more or less like, you are an empath, right? And you connected to higher science and wisdom.
Right.
She was right. So she hit it right on the nose. Bam!
Mine is deep red in the aura, represents the primal vital life energy. Living in our physical reality with both feet on the ground is essential to you. You explore life with all your senses, expressing your intense physical energy. Clear, deep red indicates a dynamic physical energy and vitality. If you focus on your goals, you can achieve anything you desire. Okay? Um, Deep red, physical, hardworking, action, power, survival, realistic, physically active, vital, grounded, strength, stamina, explorer. Okay? So I got an Aries rising and an Aries moon. You feel me? I'm always been deeply red, even though people call me blue pill. That is a mask. You feel me? So yeah, man, I'm just fully engaged with this experience, and I want to be in service to Mama because I know that we can restore, you know, what has been done wrong and damaged by the third industrial age. I got invited by the Amazonians, by some Brazilians from the Amazon to actually come, to the Amazon. They want me to
Visit the
participate and
mind.
visit the mines. These people are offering me like half of their mines. And I got like 9 and 10 offers like that. I got offered mines, I got all daughters, and I got offered experiences. And I'm saying that to say this is not an overture, and I'm not being chauvinistic by saying that what different cultures understand globally that come into contact with us is that when the way that they access the swag is through the bloodline, right? They're seeing things different than how we were trained to see them. Oh, I want to knock something down and it's not. No, they're looking at the merging of worlds and natures and cultures, and the fact that they're looking at us and they know, oh, these people have the life force and the vitality, right, to bring my bloodline to another level. The continuity factor is almost certain with the gods. But I'm like, look, y'all, I got a lady at home. Let's not play that.
Cause
But at
home,
the
because
same
the brother
time,
from Morocco was like, "Yeah, I got all the ladies. What's happening? What's
chill,
going on?"
come on, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blue said, chill, chill. Oh man.
Hey, looking at this. Calm down.
Hey,
So wait.
let me get to another question, Blue, because I gotta
All right.
get out of here soon.
Let's do it.
I just seen a question. Okay, spring is coming. What's some positive energy crystals I need in my DNA for this new birth?
I mean, I would definitely say quartz. You know what I'm saying? I would say obsidian, because obsidian is clearing and it discharges,
Cellulite,
right? Selenite,
selenite.
in order to, once you do your clearing and your discharging of negative energy or whatever falls by the wayside in the death months of winter. And again, death, just like Pluto, just meaning transmutation and transformation, not death in terms of finality, but a transference. You know what I'm saying? You want to discharge, you want to clear anything that's negative from you. You want to bring in the positive energy by way of the selenite, the renewal, right? Bringing in that white light, that newness in yourself. And you want to get you something that's indicative of whatever you feel that you desire. If it's money, you're going to need you some citrine. You know what I'm saying? If it's courage, you're gonna need you some tiger's eye. You feel me? If it's spiritual good fortune and things of that nature, you're gonna need you some amethyst. So whatever you feel is, you know, what your heart desires, what your 2022 is shaping up to look like, whatever marathon that you want to go on, that's where you should get your crystal to align with that reality and that destiny. Incorporate it and make it part of your auric field. Program it and become the crystal, right? Stop externalizing your experience to things to say, oh, I need this to make me lit. It's like, nah, you already got it in you. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that that stone knows that it's about to go on a journey of a lifetime by being next to you, part and parcel, recording, you know what I'm saying? Your glow up. So yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Let's get to the next question. Um, do you believe a good God's diet would be the vegetarian slash vegan one?
Absolutely, right? Because the thing about being plant based is you have to keep in mind that the thing that separates chlorophyll in your blood is iron and magnesium, right? Magnesium is what creates chlorophyll, and iron is what produces heme, or the hemoglobin, for oxygen to travel throughout your different organs. So when you're eating plant-based foods, you're actually eating the sun's or cosmic information, right? Because the sun transmutates light into chemical energy through photosynthesis, right? So you're actually eating cosmic intelligence.
That part.
Right? So the cosmic intelligence interfaces with your cells and bonds to your molecules, which calibrates your whole chemical structure, which makes up your metabolism and keeps you in a state of homeostasis. So yes.
Okay. Let's let's do two more, family. Let's do two more. I don't see any more questions. Y'all ain't got no more questions. I don't see any more. Well, let me ask you this, Blue and Will. We're in a time now where there's so many breakthroughs happening for us in terms of ascension symptoms. Do you think that since we just talked about health, do you think that some of the health Nazis out there are doing a disservice to people when they telling them that they may not be eating a certain way, when it's really they really just feel away because they're having ascension symptoms, but we're misdiagnosing it as, hey, maybe you did this, or hey, it's this, or maybe it's that, when it's really just an ascension symptom that somebody's going through right now?
Well, I say it's all about moderation, right? You don't want to overindulge in anything, right? So if you ate a piece of chicken today, but didn't eat another piece of chicken for another 6 to 8 weeks, right? That chicken is not going to have an adverse reaction to your body over the long term. In fact, it's not going to have an adverse reaction to your body at all, because it's it's eating chicken in perpetuity is what creates the ailments.
Right. And the lack of expulsion, so if you have an open system where that food is passing through you, you're expelling it in a 72-hour process, it's really not going to be that particular harmful to you. But when it starts piling up, right, and we don't have discipline, we want to eat 18 pieces of chicken and then do it tomorrow. Those are the things that put us in the level of detriment, right? Our access and the fact that we don't have brakes, we don't pump the brakes on things, right? They make poison convenient and we overindulge and then want to blame them, right? It's all participatory. We signed up and volunteer for it. You're not a victim. You're a volunteer.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? But some people are not, they're not aware, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They're not aware, right? But it's not meant for everybody to be aware. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately we can't save everybody. You know what I mean? But those who do have the awareness, if they participate in those principles, then they're going to yield a desired result. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? Right? We need individuals that's going to eat pig feet and pork chops, and we need those individuals on the planet. Why? Because we need a model for what not to do.
The duality, he's saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Juxtaposition.
Juxtaposition. Right.
And what I had left out that I meant to finish earlier when I was speaking about the Amazon is that they offered me the opportunity to come to the Amazon and help them reforest the forest, plant the trees. You know what I mean? This was an initiative that they had intertwined into their business model. I was introduced to do the same thing in Australia by an opal miner who reintegrates seeding back in his environment, which is the outbacks. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm able to bring my ingenuity, techniques that I know, people that I've met, right, to say, wow, if I can accelerate this growth process, right, like what if you know what I'm saying, like what if we can participate and play a role in replanting the Amazon? Now, you know how I've been sitting up here post C19 and been talking about the Amazon as being a possible cause for when you collapse the lungs of the planet. You know, the lungs are responsible for filtration. So when you take the filtration system out, then that means all of the airborne pathogens are free to just roam around the planet and do whatever they want. So this was the first time ever that the planet was not containing its airborne diseases. And then all of a sudden, you know, we had a pandemic. But I'm like, you know, we can bring it full circle and actually participate with reforesting the planet. That's major. And all of that is just made off of relationships, being in the right place at the right time. These are the same Brazilians that had a crystal figure of a man that looked just like me. It was an older man. You know, he had dreads and everything, but I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna grow dreads in the Amazon because they don't got, you know, they don't got barbershops out there. And I've always wanted to live in the Amazon. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, this is a very mystical experience, you know, being able to meet yourself, your quantum self, and you like, damn, this is what I'm on a journey to do. This is what the second half of my life is gonna look like. I've already lived like 4 lifetimes in this one life, and now I'm making to live another four. Saying,
Indeed.
so it's just exciting, man.
Let's get to the last question. With the magnetic field weakening, how will our plasma be affected?
Say, who feels like the magnetic field is weakening?
No, I mean this is what science is saying because the pole ain't getting ready to shift.
But they're not weakening. There is a transmutation of the energy and frequency. It's not a weakening, it's a transformation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Right? So psycho spiritually, you have to be able to ride the wave, right? By being cognizant of the patterns and the synchronicities that are taking place around you. That's where you you find out if whether you're on the right path or not. There's no weakening. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're highly spiritually evolved, you should not want to be anchored into the physical reality anyway. You know what I mean? This has limitations, right? If you go back to Star Wars, if you remember the first Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't fight Darth Vader when he went to, or when he went to put him in the astral realm, right? Obi was like, yes, I'm glad he put me there. Now I'm more powerful. I'm an ancestor. I can guide Luke. Right? Our mission is definitely he self-sacrificed for the mission.
Mm-hmm.
Right? To get Luke to be fully realized as a Jedi Master. So there's no weakening take place. Take these terms out of your ideation, which is setting boundaries on and putting you in a position to make excuses about taking control of your own creativity and participation in your reality. Period.
Indeed. To close out with, what would you want to leave the people with before we get out of here, man? The stories y'all told today, I'm gonna tell you, it was absolutely fascinating to hear both of y'all experience in Arizona And I think as a brother in the city, and I think people around the world, I mean, we hope that y'all brothers are able to tap in even more and come back to us with even more stories to tell us about what's going on out there. I
But
mean, it's
that's
like
not
it's
that's not why I'm here for this conversation, right?
mm.
I'm here because we should not be experiencing this alone. You
Mm.
if you want to be spiritually blocked, continue to participate in artificial environments,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know what I'm saying? We tap right. We like I've been living here for over 3 years now. You know what I'm saying? So I right. So I'm not even in a super urban environment state of mind where they're placing where they using the medical industrial complex as a weapon against the people,
Mm, mm, mm.
right? You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
By
let's leave that alone. That
right.
talk.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right? The
Right.
Jabberwocky. Don't. Yeah.
Right.
Let's.
You know what I mean? So, you know
I
what I
don't want
mean?
them to
So
take
it's
the
like,
video down.
you know, we right? If you can't change the things that's going on around you, then you have to change yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you may have to step into the unknown, get
Mm.
uncomfortable, and explore this wet wop.
Mm.
Mhm.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's experiential, you know what I'm saying? It's something that people have to actually tap into. So we won't be coming, with more information. We'll be coming with access for the people
Mm.
to, experience it, you know what I'm saying, to tap into it. Because one thing about the earth being choosy, one thing about the earth being WAP, one thing about us visiting these sacred sites is that spirit is like, oh, we need more of y'all. We need more of y'all here. And the soul has to touch the soul,
Mm.
meaning that we need more of y'all here grounded. We need more of y'all here in tantric ecstasy. We need more of y'all here having orgasmic ecstatic experiences. You know what I'm saying? We need more of y'all here screaming and letting out the pain and the trauma and letting it go. You know what I'm saying? Like Europeans afforded their children the opportunity to do that in the 60s by way of the sexual revolution in Woodstock. They were able to free themselves up from the cultural constraints that they were binded by, right? They went and got wild, and that created the baby boomers. And them people is still around today causing craziness and chaos. But imagine if they didn't get to release like a kettle. Imagine if they had all of that stuff
Facts. Yeah.
bent up and contained inside of them.
And I'm a living testament to it, right? When I got in the cave, bro, when I sat down on in the cave, I boohoo cried.
Yes, you
Mm.
did.
I boohoo cried. Like my mama left me.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Right? Right? It was something that I had no control over. I was released. I was freed up of um uncertainty.
And he had to empty his cup. You know what I'm
Let me
saying?
let me ask this question. I almost forgot. Somebody left a question in the super chat for y'all. My 8-year-old wants to know, is death a thing? I guess an 8-year-old, shout out to that queen, and her 8-year-old and her are watching. Is death a thing, y'all?
How could death be a thing when death began the minute the sperm fertilized the egg? The death process has is it always in juxtaposition to life, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we
But I mean, think about the language of a child when they say, "Is death a thing?" Right.
I agree
So,
with. No, I had to think about that
right.
too. I had to think like, okay, I'm speaking to the mind of an 8-year-old.
8-year-old, yes.
You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, I would tell an 8-year-old, you know what I'm saying, just enjoy
Yeah,
your
that
life. And
death is a process. It's transmutational, meaning that it's transferring energy from one state to the other. But the beauty of death is that you would have lived your life, right? So full that by the time you get to death, and if you accept it for what it is, then it's the beginning of a new journey.
Right.
So it is a thing. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful
You know what
thing.
I'm saying? And it's something
Death
that
is a beautiful thing.
and if you know that, you know, to the child that it's something that you can't escape, that's inevitable, then you have your entire life ready to prepare and get ready for it and receive it with open hands and do it with a smile on your face. I'm gonna go out of here like this. Ah,
Because if you're spiritually in tune, your whole life is about preparing for that moment.
yeah, that's
Mm.
what's up. You know what I'm saying? I look at it different. I'm so ecstatic about it. You know, I'm not rushing it. I'm not
No,
running
we're
to
not
it,
rushing it. We're not running
but
to
I'm
it.
not intimidated by it.
No, we're not
It does not
intimidated by it.
own
Yeah, it doesn't own
it don't
my
own my
physical
day. Yeah,
reality,
it don't
right?
own my day.
Right? You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
like, whatever, right? Because it's gonna be blissful when it happens, but it's still a lot of WAP down here that I gotta, you know.
Explore.
Indeed. Le- leave your contact info, both of y'all, for the people who want to get in touch with y'all.
Well, I'm new to the social media
Yeah.
thing, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm at Hard Bottom Bill is my Instagram. I just did what's the name yesterday, right? Clubhouse. I don't even know.
Yeah, he on Clubhouse.
You know what I'm saying? I think I put Preem Math at Preem Math. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because my attribute is Supreme Mathematics Allah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
You got about it.
right. That you know what I'm saying? That's my early lessons, right? As I went through so many different schools of thought to become a wizard. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, mine's is $ Blue Pillar 44. You heard? You can holler at me through my Cash App. But if you know you got business and stuff, is Blue Pillar 44 at Gmail. In the Discord group for the Netaverse, y'all want to tap into the Netaverse? It is spelled Neterverse, Netaverse, right? And hopefully we'll be doing a Netaverse on Brother Rich's channel. I want to bring my team to the table because this is not about Blue Pill. This is about some amazing dynamic engineers and designers in our community, and there's a brilliant light amongst us, a brother named Human, you know, who built the blockchain from scratch. He has built so many things in the like he is the Black Future Month. In the month of February, the amount of breakthrough inventions that he's responsible for building on the cuff again, you know, and these are individuals that operate on not no budget but low budgets, you know what I'm saying, because we don't have the fanciful funding that, you know, people that are out there running around with these titles get. These are actually the people that are putting in the work that still are making things happen, and I've always been surrounded by people like that, you know what I mean, that we know how to get it from the mud and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? But you know, brighter days are before us and things are changing and the stars are aligning and the universe is always supplying and providing, you know what I mean? And is really something that we are bringing to the planet for the children first and foremost. The parents will benefit, but the emphasis is on making sure that we're providing a forum for education, right? Homeschooling, and higher education for the children because they are the future. And if we're not making a stand to go to war for their hearts and minds, right? Forget what's going on in the Ukraine. Are we going to war for the hearts and the minds, you know what I'm saying, for our children during these times when they have already been traumatized by a situation that the adults have neglected to really put into context and put into words? Like, what are you telling your children to make them secure, to make them less fearful, to make them confident
Right.
about the future?
Right. Because we participate in generational health so that we
Right.
can experience high end healing.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Indeed.
you know what I'm saying? Like, this is about generational health.
Yeah, the phone even
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
She was like,
Right? So that we can participate in high end healing, right? You know what I'm saying? Your right? right? High-end healing is observing the majestic mountains. You know what I'm saying? The impact that has on the psyche.
And then going and getting the medicine from the majestic mountain, because the medicine is by way of the electromagnetism that can be accessed through the soles of your feet.
Right.
Right.
And that's a whole fact.
And the mountains literally got gold in it. Literally.
Blue, you ever, I know you've been in Atlanta the last couple of years. You ever grounded on Stone Mountain? You ever did that?
Bro, when I hike Stone Mountain, I do it with no shoes. I don't go on many mountains with shoes on.
Oh, excellent.
So I run up Stone Mountain with no shoes. I ground on it. It is one of the most magnifying crystals, you know what I'm saying, that I've ever been into contact with. And it's very hard to put into words the euphoric feeling that you get at the top of Stone Mountain. You literally feel like you're on top of the world and you can do any and everything. And you reminded me, and I will second that and remind anybody, especially those living in the area of Stone Mountain, don't start your day. You should not start your day without going to that mountain and grounding, running up the mountain and running down, and then go out into the world and see how things move, right? See how things move to your mind, to the manifestations, and the, you know what I'm saying, the what should I say? You know,
right? The umbilical cord, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you being charged up by the umbilical cord of mother, right? You know what I'm saying? Because, right, we trying to get back comfortable in that WAP. You know what I'm saying? Right? We looking for, we trying to be balanced. We trying to be right, because we, you know, and I speak in those terms, right? But to be honest with you, we're not trying. We're actually out here in these streets doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if I keep going on and on, you're gonna be like, yo, this is cap, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of this can't be happening, but it's happening. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like I said, you know, getting right, you know, stepping out and moving into the social media realm, because as we begin to transition into the digital construct of reality, you know what I'm saying, I have to start to participate more, and it would be the greatest of feelings to be able to meet these rare, extraordinary individuals who want to know how that WAP feel. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I was gonna say something crazy, but I'm gonna chill.
Hey man, listen, I appreciate the show today, y'all. Thanks for coming on. Looking forward to having y'all on here again. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. Brother Blue Pill, Will I Am, Brother Rich. We signing out, family. Peace.
Peace.
Hey.